un grand plaisir de vous réunir à Rouen aujourd'hui, une ville importante pour le marché des grains européen et mondial. I will go on in English because we speak a lot of languages in this room. So, good morning everybody. We are very pleased to welcome you here, especially in this town of Rouen that everybody knows for the importance of this town regarding grain exports, imports, and the impact of this town in the world trade. We are very happy to have this opportunity today to meet you. You are in the rooms, either our subscribers, or you are our partners, or you are interested in what we do and you want to know more, to ask questions. So welcome everybody. I hope this time will be a good one to have an exchange together. We will exchange about our forecast, about our perspectives. We want to share with you the main ideas that we've got about the markets. So we'll have a session devoted to grain, then a session devoted to oilseeds, another one to sugar, a market in which we are now involved, highly involved. And before this, I will give you a rapid summary and presentation about the new products and about the things that we have changed at Strategie Grain over the recent months. After each session in this morning, you will be able to ask questions. So do not hesitate to ask questions, to ask compliments, to ask for very practical data, as I have been discussing with some people just before the beginning of this presentation. Also, you will be to exchange your ideas with our analysts. So all the team of Talage is here, nearly all the team. You can recognize us thanks to the badges that we've got, the white ones. So do not hesitate, and especially after the presentations when we will have the lunch together. So you are invited to stay with us for 1 hour and a half after this presentation, between 30 and 2:30. Do not hesitate to go and see the analyst, to discuss with them. For example, you will see that we are going to speak about wheat, maize, barley. We, for example, are not going to have an official explanation here on durum wheat, but I know that in the room some people are highly involved in durum wheat trading, so do not hesitate to go and meet our analyst responsible for this. So now I wish you a good session, and I propose that we enter in our topics, our first topics, which is to explain to you very rapidly the story of Strategie Grain and what are the new products and the new things that we want to show you today. So, a few words about who we are. The Strategie Grain publications that you may know already are run by the Talage team of analysts. We are about 20 people in this team of analysts, and the team is owned by 4 working partners. And we think this is something very important for the scope of our analysis. We are independent from any other company. We are not involved in any trading or production activity. Our job basically is to provide you with fundamental analysis, and this is in order to contribute to your decision process. So, as I said that our basic job is to provide fundamental analysis, our day-to-day life consists in forecasting and working on the main items of balance sheets. So we have developed a methodology to forecast acreage, yield and production. So you are used to this because a lot of you are already readers of our reports. And for example, this methodology, which we have experienced over a lot of years, has, for example, this year been very useful to predict the French crop when in June we realized that the crop was really lower than estimated before. This is this methodology that we have used and that we have also, I will say that later on, we will also implement, we are also implementing the same methodology for a lot of countries in the world, not only in the European Union. So Our job is also to predict human and industrial use. It is to predict animal use through different models for the animal use. For example, we are doing the same as if we were feed compounders. We have a linear program formulas that we enable us to predict the incorporation rates of each raw materials in poultry feed, in pig feed, in cattle feed, etc. For human and industrial use, we look at capacities, plants, we follow that very carefully, we follow which plant is working, which plant is closing, and with which feedstock, for example, the plant is running. Of course, once we have predicted supply and demand, we work on exchanges based on import requirements for the main EU countries, for the main countries in the world, and taking into account the price competitiveness of all the origins, taking into account the quality available in each origins, we are able to forecast trade, intra-EU trade or world trade. Finally, all this job leads to a stock analysis, and from the stock analysis we are able to give a point of view about how price can move in the near future, but also in the medium term. So this is a short recap of our job. To expand on this, our main activities, so centered on the publications Strategie grants, in which we recap the summary and all the work that we do, and as I have described before. And these publication Strategie grants are available in the format of reports, and they are also completed by a web service, strategygrant.com, on which you can find some data, a lot of data which are updated regularly, nearly every day. So it's a good complement to the monthly reports. And also you will find a lot of details. For example, when we publish our forecast for world trade, we just publish in the report the main figures, but on our website you will find the exports to all the destinations in the world from all the origins in the world. And I would say we are the only source where you can find such a detail, such an import and export matrix, for example. We also produce some specific analytical services for companies who want us to work on a specific subject. For example, some years ago, we ran a study for the European Union to give the EU Commission a tool to forecast the incorporation of raw materials in animal feeds. So this was a big job that we ran for the EU Commission. We have also been highly involved in with some companies wanted to set up new biofuel plants at the time of the big biofuel booms some years ago, where to localize the plants on the basis of which feedstock the plant would run. So we have worked with some companies on this subject, thanks to our big data bank ready to be used to forecast the future, and also thanks to the work and the work power that we have with the 20 analysts, knowing the sector and being able to use all the knowledge and the workforce to answer the specific needs of the companies. We also provide some long-term studies, maybe not to 2050, like the FAO or the OECD do, but we quite regularly we update our 5-year, 10-year forecast, and it's very useful to do this because it's a good knowledge, and this can also impact what is happening in the near future. So what I've described can be recapped as consulting activity, and we also do some training. Some companies, for example, when they want to set up research department, when they want to begin analysis, when they hire people to organize the research of information, the models, and the way to make this information and this work significant on terms of price impact, they come to us, and we organize sessions to help setting up this research team. So now, a short history. about the company. The Stratégie grain and tallage company have been founded in '93. That was at a time, when the European Union was concerned with a big reform. In '92, someone in the room may remember, we had the McSharry reform, which decided something very important for the European Union. It was to disconnect the support given to farmers from prices. So, following on, prices have decreased through the reduction of the intervention prices. Some direct payments have been organized and given directly to the farms. But this has been the beginning of an interesting process. It was the process which led prices in the EU became more volatile than before. So that's why we have tried to propose to the market. We began with the French market, with the COPs, with the merchants, and then we have expanded this to all the industrial people, to the big trading companies in the world, and also to the banks, to the EU Commission, for example, so institutionals. And we decided to begin this job to help all the actors of the grain market to face this new situation in the European Union. So at this time, we had import levies. They are still existing now, but we had something which is not existing a lot now in the grain sector nor in the oilseed sector. It was the export refunds. So prices in the European Union were more a function of internal EU factors at that time, and also they were a function of the EU budget, because the refund system, the intervention system, was really expensive. Something happened then. Following the CAP evolution and also following WTO negotiations and what the world requested to the European Union, the EU markets became more dependent on the global market. And for example, the refund given to cereals, given to wheat and barley, for example, have been completely abandoned in the middle of the 2000s. So this has changed a lot. Because of this, strategy grain analysts began to look at the world and to look carefully at the world, to work at all the countries that are important and are key countries, key drivers of prices all over the world. Because if you want to predict prices now in the European Union, you have to get your idea about what is going on in Russia, what is going on in Algeria, in Egypt, all over the world. You know that perfectly. So, as a consequence, our focus expanded to all these important countries, and why we are together today, it is because we want to explain to you and show you what we did at the world level, and we want to make you benefit from this involvement in the world grain market.